was 12 years old, and my mother brought this floor-length mirror into my bedroom. And up until that time, mirrors were my enemy. The last thing I wanted to do was to look into a mirror. And because what you would see is, again, it was like scaly and pussy. And at first it just kind of went up into my neck. And I could use my hair, I could use things. And my mother never wanted me to wear long sleeves. I never understood. She always said the sun would make it better. And so I spent so much of my time in school. So nobody'd see it, nobody'd see it. And I remember walking to school and, kids would run up and, there she is, this is alligator skin, don't get near her, you'll catch it. And so I sat on up on the ledge in the infirmary. And, but I didn't miss it so much. I didn't miss things. I found myself like I created like this beautiful cocoon. And sometimes I brought myself way up high, where nobody could touch me, no one could hurt me, and I'd look down at the world. I always wanted to feed the starving children, all those little kids that couldn't express themselves. Anyway, there was this mirror, and my father called me out and says, there's a man here who wants to talk to you. And I go out to the street, and it's the dancing teacher talking to my mother how this dancing could make my life so much better. And my father took one look at me and said, you gotta be kidding. I mean, you dance, are you going to get over it? Look at your spindly legs. You're ugly. Do you know what it takes to be a dancer? And I found myself going back to my bedroom, and there was that mirror again. And I couldn't stand it. I didn't want to see mirror. I didn't want to see this ugliness. I just didn't want to see myself anymore. I didn't want to be here anymore. And I held my breath for so long. Nobody's going to make me breathe. Nobody's going to be, I'm going to hold it. And it was amazing. I'm just going to hold it. Lightheaded, and I took this mask off, and I was like a baby bird. I was like the worm. I couldn't get enough of this air. What is this air? And then it is intent to keep me alive. Next day, I ventured again to the room. There was this Halloween mask. I just put it on my face and opened my eyes. And there was a dragon breathing fire into my nostrils, snorting. Never before. I started flying from the room. I couldn't get enough of it. And then I glanced in the mirror again, and I pulled off the mask, and I said, my father says that I can't be a beautiful dancer. Well, I'm going to be the greatest ugly dancer. And out came the slime. And all the most amazing thing happened. My mother and father came home, and here I am. I mean, I had the dragon breathing fire in me. As soon as I saw them, my entire body just completely contracted and boiling. And what did you do? And I nothing. And I caught it. It was just one moment I caught it. I caught her shoulders, so tightly wound around her little heart. It was almost like a cave. And the arms, it's always twisting into the body. But God forbid that anyone should see. And in that moment, I realized that I was acting like a victim. But deep down, nobody could beat anymore, no matter how hard they tried. They couldn't beat out a power inside of me that was going to come out no matter what. And here I come, world. Oh, yes, every little child come out. There's freedom to express all that you are. And boy, oh boy, I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And every day I just became gorillas and I became snakes in the grass. And I became fire just shooting out to the skies. And by a month after this practice, the skin disease that had plagued me my whole life, it was like it was getting paler. It was like something was happening to me. And then I could finally see straight. And my eyes righted themselves. And oh boy, I remember this one day running down a hill. And I was like, it took the hair loose, and I ran down this hill, and I was like, oh, I'm alive. And the photographer was there and shot my picture. And a week later, on a big magazine, was me on the cover of Beauty, Radiant Beauty Under the Sun. And I was like, who is that? Who is that? And I remember for my first beauty contest, they literally lured me in a beautiful red dress that I never had. And they literally pushed me on that stage. And then an interesting thing happened because, I could just feel like the whole frozen thing again. It was just everything freezing. And then I just kind of looked out and for whatever reason, I saw this audience like me. I mean, they smiled at me, they liked me. And in that moment, the dragon breathing fire came pouring out. And I not only walked down that stage, I waltzed down that stage. Oh, wow. I mean, I was like, oh my God, that was my first love affair, was with an audience of strangers. Because it was the first time I ever felt conditional love for who I was. And wow, nothing could stop me. I became Miss Florida of 1957. I was a runner-up in the Miss America pageant. And here I am, world, honoring the spirit of life itself. The spirit of life itself as the prime mover of our being. Let us come and join as champions of life force. To breathe life, renewed life into creation itself, into humanity, into us all, into a new world, and where every little child can be seen for the beauty and power that they are.